Hello, everybody, and welcome on another FOHO Talks. With me today is Ajit Khurana, and we will also have Roshan joining us. Roshan, if anybody want to guess, is stuck in traffic, and anybody want to guess which city he is stuck in traffic in? Ajit, you know the answer, but if anybody want to guess and is on the call, you know, and I think we're just waiting for people to come in. We're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram and on Twitter. So any of you watching, please, you can join the conversation. Participate with us. And the first question in terms of participation is, where is Roshan stuck in traffic? Let's see if there's anybody want to answer. You know what? We might actually have some prize for that.
So Vijay, what I will do is I was a lecturer way back in 93 at the University
Okay.
of Texas at Austin. So I like to be good to students. So I will just give everybody a hint that the answer is not Bangalore because I know a lot of people are going to just say Bangalore with all the Bangalore traffic. So it's not Bangalore.
Okay, so let's see if there's people up here coming up. We are live, definitely live right now. Um, you know, uh, so as we wait for people to stream in, Ajit, any views? We'll kind of get started. This kind of happenings around the world. Lots of stuff happening in the FOHO world. A big one in India. You're very close to what's happening. You've been on NDTV, you've been on different other TV channels. Something that you might want our viewers to know about. What's happening. And again, there's news. Fake news. Fake news about fake news. So if you can just give us some kind of insight to what's happening.
So what I'll do is I'll give you first a high level one,
Yeah.
which will tell people what is going on the whole. On the whole, if you look at any regulations that we in the Indian blockchain, crypto, digital asset community would like, frankly, we would like that if I'm not doing the wrong things should not happen to me. That is at the high level, that it is my money, I pay tax, I'm investing, don't stop me. If I make profit, I'll give tax. If this is the approach you take, then frankly, you're in good news that all these people who are telling you that somehow it's going to be banned, criminalized, whatever, as in all the horrible things around it, those things will go away as long as you are doing the right thing. There will, however, be because government comes in, there will, however, be a reason for you to prove that you are doing the right thing. So this is where compliance comes in. At this point of time, what we know is that you will be required to declare the crypto that you hold. Now, how will this be declared? Where will this be declared? Meaningless questions. Because frankly, I'm telling you, even if the government knows the answer to that, next year it's going to change it. But that doesn't matter. All you need to know is just where the money came from. So if it came from your bank account, great. Then you have to find where the money came into the bank account, what you purchased and when. So if you're buying on any of these exchanges, you will have some sort of a record in your list. If by any chance you purchased on like a pancake swap or something like or uniswap because FOHO is on Ethereum, then you would anyway be able to go to your ether scan or something and look at the transaction dates as to when something came into your account. I think that for the common person who is just an investor, this is all there is to it. If you're a business like an exchange or like FOHO, there are more things to keep in mind, but that is it at the high level.
Yes. So thank you, Ajit. And I think from a fundamental principle standpoint, nothing's changed. If you are a tax-paying citizen in a country, it is your obligation to declare your income. Now, the only thing here was the government did not have the means or the mechanisms to enforce some of those things. It was more difficult for them to do it. So people kind of got away with some of those. But if were a law-abiding citizen, and if you wanted to make sure, which I think that the onus was on self-disclosure, in that sense, nothing changes. And this is something that I fundamentally tell people in most cases. When a government says there is going to be some kind of compliance, you got to make sure, if you and let's assume that there are now some businesses that are investing in crypto. So the businesses have to bring that same amount of due diligence, the same amount of transparency. For example, if Citibank were to buy as part of their treasury operations, buy some Bitcoin, right? They would have to have disclosures and transparency of the highest level. So in that sense, I think now everybody, those who self disclosed or because of SEC or other things, now it just becomes more it is being enforced to everybody else as well. So I definitely, I think if this, that's the lens I look at it as. So it is so if you were anyway, and it doesn't have to be that the money that actually goes into crypto is always of a specific color, or is gray, as people call it, or black or white or whatever. But in that sense, whatever it is, you could have potentially done it in the past as well. And now it's just a little more regulations that are going to come in. Yeah. So thank you, Ajit. So I think people shouldn't lose sleep. Not big changes. Yes, disclosure, transparency. I think a lot of the wild west kind of thing might actually be going away. This is going to be getting to where also potentially a lot of those peaks and troughs and big booms and busts might that's maybe something people are wanting to listen to as well. What is your take on that? Would volatility go away with this, or is it going to be more stable, Ajit?
So I'll actually give a slightly different answer first. So I'll
Mhm.
tell you what, in terms of whether things are good or bad, I think that we have had a huge victory. As in, keep that in mind that while there will be some pain in compliance, paperwork, some query will come, those pains will be there, but that is nothing compared to the pain that people were worrying that we will not be able to touch crypto. At least compared to that, we are at a huge victory. But now answering your question, Vijay, which was around volatility, volatility happens on two levels. One is the volatility of crypto itself. Second is the volatility of Indian prices versus international prices. I think that the second is going to stabilize. And frankly, except on November 24th, when the market fell about 20%, which means from a 4% premium, India became a 16% discount market. There are very rare occasions when India has such a India volatility. The volatility of crypto in general, frankly, the world does not care. As in, when we had the Lok Sabha agenda come up and everybody was panicking in India, the world just didn't care, frankly. So I think that whatever was happening in the crypto volatility will remain for some time because it's unaffected by this. Indian volatility will reduce and we will be more aligned with global prices.
Mm. But the Indian volatility, is it large enough to impact global prices? Is that because it seemed like, and again, nobody knows what the cause and effect was, but it seemed like some of the India noise did seep into the global pricing as well.
So what we found was that there was a very, very minimal effect this time. However, if I
Mm.
go back to allow, I just remember the date February 1 to 2018 when Arun Jaitley mentioned something in the budget speech. At that point, India fell and took the world with it. And
Okay.
India came back in 2 days and the world also came back. But at least, see, what has happened is since then, China has banned Bitcoin 5 times. So the world has got a little used to these sort of noises coming from one place or the other. I think that if India had indeed banned, now that would affect world prices for sure.
Okay. Fantastic. So now I think we've got a little bit of news about everywhere and things happening. So I think we'll come back to FOHO itself, and with FOHO, I think we're quite excited about how things have panned out. We have properties already available for purchase. Things are out there. People are buying the properties now. We do have those properties have to close, so we need to have as many people buy it for it to close. Uh, People that might, my hypothesis, people with money in crypto, what better opportunity for you to park that money possibly in an asset that's backed by actual real estate, and which is easily fungible and transferable from crypto to FOHO. So, two questions here. Do you agree with my hypothesis? Number two, tell me anything better, or even close second, where you can do this. Ajit?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
Oh, so actually, I'm completely sold. For
Okay.
people who don't know, I am chief evangelist at FOHO. So, as a chief evangelist, you can't expect anything except, as in, by the way, you should know, I asked for that designation. As in, Vijay
Absolutely.
and Roshan told me, what should we call you? I said, call me chief evangelist because that's how I feel about FOHO. I think that, to be honest, there are three different levels of answers of this question. I do not automatically assume that an asset backed token is superior. I don't, because I believe that algorithm is also a backing, people's belief is also a backing. There are lots of things that are backing. But specifically to the case of FOHO, because I know Roshan for a long time, Vijay for some time, and I must tell you what these guys are putting together is so extraordinary that I actually chased them and told them I want to be part of this story because it's going to become very, very, very big. And as a result, I am here now, so there is no doubt about what Vijay is saying. I think that in addition to the fact that I was anyway sold on it, now in a few more days when we hear from the government about how things are going, I'm going to truly double down on FOHO. As in, I'm going to go and FOHO up my FOHO stock.
Absolutely, and absolutely, it's let's FOHO, FOHO up, all of those things that we're talking about, and in terms of we've got some plans, and as chief evangelist, I don't want to steal your thunder. So we've got a couple of things lined up, over the next, I would say, the holiday season, and it's going to be a really fun, exciting holiday season. So you want to tell our audience a little bit about potentially what's coming over the next 30 days or so.
So I have a little surprise up my sleeve. So I will not reveal the surprise, but I can tell you the thinking behind the surprise. Now, so I first got exposed to crypto, which was only Bitcoin in 2014, and then I bought my first tiny amount in 2016, and since then, for the last 5+ years now, I have been in this space. I must tell you what I like about this space, other than the fact that it's growing so well and value is going up. Other than that, I like the fact that this is very community oriented, it's very inclusion oriented. It's not a thing. For example, suppose I want to invest in startups, right? People invested in Flipkart, people invested in Paytm, people invested in, those opportunities were not available to me even if I had the foresight to buy it. Then I want to invest in global stock, I want to invest in Facebook, and I want to invest in Amazon. Those opportunities are available, but to me, but with great effort. There's a whole lot of compliance and foreign exchange and stuff. What I like is that this is for everybody. So, working on the belief that this is for everybody, where do we go next with that? I think that, well, those who are already into it should, because they believe in it, invite other people into it. There has to be a sense of giving, there has to be a sense of receiving, there has to be a sense of sharing. And what better time than, it's the season to be jolly, to do that. So that is a hint for you. And I emphasize certain words in what I said, which were kind of a giveaway. So Vijay recognizes them, but you guys will see something very interesting coming up.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ajit. And also, I think we're actually going to be also having a little bit of a. If any of you are in Ajit's in Dubai, I'm going to let out a little more cat out of the bag there. We are going to be at a couple of conferences in the near future. There is a big Thai conference coming up in Dubai. Now, hopefully, that does still happen with Omicron and all of the changes in the world. Now, any of you are in Dubai or attending the Thai conference, please reach out to me. I will be there. And on the sides of the conference, we will also be having a FOHO meet and greet with our existing investors, future investors, our partners. So a lot of you, I think Dubai, you speak to a lot of people, is the center of the world. So we will definitely want to be there, and so please follow us on all our social media handles, and we will definitely be there. So Ajit, coming to also a couple of things that from your vantage point in Dubai, is there anything that you would want to say in terms of sentiment with and real estate, right? Is there I live in Toronto, Canada, and they couldn't have been a hotter, it's not red hot, it's white hot market in terms of real estate. But in Dubai, I think it's still, it almost seems Dubai seems value priced now. People have never would have thought they'll call Dubai real estate value price, but it seems to be it right now. So I think with FOHO, there is a lot of opportunity for people to arbitrage, play the different markets and all of that stuff. So your thoughts on some of that, and how do people, especially young people, that form a bulk of the opportunity here. I mean, the rich and the famous used to do this always, but it's the young and the hungry and the young and the dreamers that now have the opportunity as well. So
Yeah,
your thoughts
so
on that?
correct. So I do not regard myself as an expert in real estate. I am a student of real estate. Having said that, what I must tell you is that not just the young and the hungry, unlike the examples I gave you of stock, etc., where you have to be somewhat rich to invest abroad. If you have to invest in real estate abroad, you have to be super rich, as in super super rich. Because if you're sitting in Indore and Lucknow and Chennai and Coimbatore and Delhi and Bangalore or wherever, and let's say you have to invest into property in Dubai or Canada or London or Singapore, how are you going to do that? It's like huge. It's not like a listed stock where a few clicks of the button after doing your account setup would do it. So I think that that coupled with the fact that, like you rightly pointed out, Vijay, that while markets go hot, red hot, white hot, cold, value priced, etc., these markets don't necessarily work in tandem. So for example, if the market in Canada is white hot, I am unable to take a view whether that means that this is not the time to invest because it's already white hot, or whether this is the time to invest because maybe there is a different color of hot which will come later. However, you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
However,
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
when you look at like Dubai being value priced, or there would be opportunities everywhere, uh, coupled with, and this is for everybody to look carefully, it is not just about pricing. It is the ability of FOHO to generate a yield on it in terms of rental yield, etc. The combination of those for almost anybody except a very well connected real estate professional to manage, and then it's not there. So the fact that there's this opportunity, I think, is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So that's that. I think you hit it there. I mean, there is people that it's just, I'm just was kind of giving different opportunities out there, but the fact that and you hit it right on the head there with saying super rich. It's not just the rich. The super rich only could do that, right? I mean, when you talked about people that were made it in the news, like Vijay Mallya having a house in Monaco or in London, or all of those things that people talked about. Hey, now you could own a fraction of a home in Monaco. You could own a fraction of a home in London. You could own a fraction of a condo in New York, right? So all of that is possible. And I think that's where we're so excited about this. And that, I think, is the opportunity for democratizing real estate. Now, the other part that we wanted to just touch upon is also, is this a small opportunity? Is this a big opportunity? Is this huge? And I like people to kind of also get a sense of what the real estate market is. The real estate market globally is the largest business in the world. It is bigger than the oil industry. It is bigger than the EV industry. It is, believe it or not, it's bigger than Tesla. It's bigger than Google, Microsoft, all of this put together. It's $100 trillion market. So of that, if we even get a fraction of that market, and the fraction of market fractionalizes, we're in a multi-trillion dollar business. So that is, I think, why we are excited about this. And Ajit, your thoughts on this. I mean, in terms of it is a huge asset class, and what we're doing, almost there is seems like there is nobody else that is out there that's doing it as easily click of the button as us. There are obviously competitors, but it's quite different. So just your thoughts on that as well.
I just threw in a comment while you were talking. So, preempting your question, I already put it up there. But so here is the thing. I personally think that I'm happy to be a big fish in a big pond, a small fish in a big pond, but I aspire to be a big fish in a big pond, right? Because of those first two choices leave something to be desired. That is really what you're talking about. It. I can start with FOHO, and let's say, for example, I look at famous buildings in the world. So, for example, probably the most famous building in the world is Burj Khalifa, right? Maybe, as in it could be argued, there could be somebody who says this tower in London and that tower in Manhattan or whatever. But I don't see any reason why Indians who may want to get some sort of an exposure to that will not be able to do that while sitting in India, having purchased the token in India from their bank account, compliant with the regulations, and still partake in the potential growth in the economy, because growth in the economy often is linked to growth in real estate of any place of the world. So, to that extent, right there, by tuning into real estate, you're actually tuning into the economy. So if you feel that a particular city, a particular sub part of the city, so let us say you say India will do well, within that Mumbai will do that, within that Powai will do that, within that Hiranandani will do well, those opportunities become available. So you can take your bet about where you think the economic growth will be the most, and you have a vehicle today to participate in that. So that in hindsight, you don't say, Bola Thana, as in I told you, I knew this was going to happen. Just that, I didn't have the money at that point of time, because obviously the money requires is crores, millions of dollars, some large number like that. But this opportunity becomes available to you in a fractional way. That is what I like about it.
Fantastic. And now I'm going to ask people if they have any questions. I mean, please send in your questions to the chat. We got some people. Everybody's saying kudos and huge and let's FOHO. Thank you guys. It is hashtag let's FOHO. We've got anybody has any questions for Ajit or me, please send those in as well. Roshan, hoping you've made it past Silk Board or so the junction. I think in Delhi, many years back, it used to be the Ames junction until they put a flyover and everything there. But I used to still I have memories of that being quite the nightmare. But I was very surprised how smooth things have turned out there. With just a flyover in place in at the Ames intersection.
That just
So
reminds me, Vijay, that you
mm,
have not yet shared where Roshan is stuck in traffic.
okay. So Roshan, are you there? You want to give the answer? I think Roshan. I see. I think he's himself said that. He says Bangalore though.
Yeah, when I actually said, that he's not in Bangalore, because to be honest, I thought that the answer was Goa. I don't know whether I
No, no,
was
no.
wrong
He,
all along.
he is he is in Bangalore. So I was also. I thought maybe you knew something more than I did because he's yesterday he was in Chennai, and then I was like maybe he didn't make it back, but he did make it back. So that's good. So it is Bangalore. So I think we've got Zuhaib. Well, came up with Bangalore first. So Zuhaib, you earn something. I don't know what it is, but we'll make sure you get a prize. So
You,
so
Zoheb,
let's give it up for Zuhaib.
Zoheb, you learn our love, you earn our love and affection.
Yes.
Right,
So
yeah.
I'll try to go beyond that. Okay, so we'll do something.
Beyond love and affection, is it going to be real estate? As in, what is bigger than love and affection? Real estate?
Yeah. Fantastic,
Okay.
fantastic. So I think what we like to do is now just open it up, guys. If you have any questions, please go ahead. I see a lot of let's FOHO, let's FOMO for FOHO, no FOMO for FOHO. Yes, no FOMO. Go for it. It is it is available. It's out there, and I think. A couple of other things that we want to say today. If you're watching from outside of India, we kind of had a little bit of a India bias in terms of when we started off. And I think was because you had to start somewhere. I mean, we as Ajit mentioned, start small, dream big, and finish big. So I think that's absolutely where we want to go with this. what we want you guys to know, and people that are outside India, very soon we will be on a international exchange as well. So when I say very soon, watch our social media spaces. It will be before the end of December. So and okay, I'll give you a little more before Christmas. Okay, so before Christmas we will be on another exchange as well. We're already on Uniswap. We will be on a couple of other things as well. We will also be on other blockchains as well, because what I've heard and I've tried, people have a big problem right now, which with gas fees, and Ethereum has a lot of good things going for it, but one of the things that's not going so well for Ethereum, I think, is the huge gas fees. So I think we've listened to all of you. We are going to make a change. We will be on a couple of other chains as well, and I think that should allay a lot of the fears that people had in terms of, I wanted to buy a small amount of property, and the gas fees are more than the amount that I'm buying it, which should not be the case. I mean, absolutely does not help democratization of real estate, and we absolutely understand that, and we are working towards fixing it. Very soon, you will hear about that as well. So we got a question here, Vicky Sharma. If real estate industry in India becomes 1 trillion USD in size, imagine the growth potential for blockchain based real estate. Absolutely. And from what I've heard, it is already a 1 trillion USD in size. And with some of the way some of the accounting is possibly done in India, I think that might be underestimated. So it could be it could be over, quite a bit over 1 trillion already. So Wiki, absolutely, and as a platform, we definitely want a big piece of that pie, and I think that's something that we're going towards. So anything that you want to add, Ajit, in terms of, I think the gas fees thing, I think is something that's, I think people at the highest level, as at Vitalik at Ethereum, is thinking about it, right? So which means it is definitely a problem. So your thoughts or your worldview of how this is, I mean, obviously what we are doing is tactical, but where do you see this as going? And you're also advisor to Polygon and Matic and stuff like that. Now, the downside of this is, as the Polygon Matic coin gets more expensive, unfortunately, gas fees goes up. Even if you start small, it will go up. So, what's your worldview on this?
So luckily, all of those side chains or scaling solutions still are costing about 1/100th of the Ethereum gas fees. That is number one. Number two, what I would advise people to do is that if gas fees is a challenge, please keep in mind as to where does gas fees kick in. For example, suppose you go to an exchange where FOHO is listed, such as BitBNS, there is no gas fees. And then you go, you transfer, there's literally zero gas fees, and whatever brokerage commission, whatever they charge, which tends to be 0.1, 0.2, or something in that range, that is all you have. Gas fees comes in when you do wallet operations, right? Sure, that will come in, but at the same time, we need to make sure that we are not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. What I mean is that I hate gas fees as much as anybody, especially see if I were to pay you and you were getting the gas fees, at least one of us got the gas fees. Here, the gas fees is largely going to some strange third party who is called a miner, right? Good for the miner, but the fact still is that we are not looking at a situation where it is productive for us. If it is not productive for us, yes, it is a cause of concern. But is it a cause of concern that stops me from doing the principal activity itself? No. I don't stop doing my activity. I just feel a little higher degree of friction. So don't stop what you're doing. Having said that, uh, since Vijay has already announced that we are exploring several other scaling solutions, chains, side chains, etc., things will only get better from here.
Thank you, Ajit. And we have Roshan, who's made it,
Hey,
survived Bangalore traffic, and made
survived
it here.
Bangalore traffic. Thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Ajit. So, my sincere apologies to both of you all and to all the viewers. Unfortunately, this is usually my commute time, And Bangalore traffic is so unpredictable, and it's a Friday evening, so everybody in the office is trying to get that last few approvals and signatures before I escape office. So it's literally like, as I try to leave, I have to it's like an obstacle course. Every person is like, yes, I want this, I want that, and then I kind of get out after 15 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was, the last I was in Bangalore was a couple of years back, and I went from the airport to Electronic City.
Oh my God.
Electronic City took me, I would say, 3.5 hours one way and 3.5 hours back. So 7 hours in
Yeah.
Bangalore traffic, and I had a lot of friends, so I called some
So
guys. Hey,
now,
is there,
Vijay,
yeah,
good news for you. If you want to try to do that today, the smartest thing is they have a chopper ride for
yes,
4,000 rupees.
yeah, it would have been made so much sense. I mean, I they just started after my this experience, but I will do it for sure. But the good part of this
100%.
was I went through engineering school and MBA school, and I met a lot of friends. So I just put something in some books, some things. Hey, I'm on this traffic stuck from here. Do any of you live or work along the way? And some guy said yes. So I said, okay, now anyway, let me go and have breakfast with one guy, had lunch with one guy. On the way back, one guy said, okay, come over. I have some Old Monk and Coke. So you know what? It actually ended up being a great experience. That was fantastic. So when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So I was quite but you can't do it every day. It's just unbelievable. The chopper definitely is, I think, essential. So Roshan, you were the real estate guy that we were wanting here. I think we've been talking about a lot about crypto. How's it going? I think Ajit's given a great perspective about things that are happening in India, and I think the message to everybody watching: don't panic. Everything's under control. What is that thing? The t-shirts that people wear. Stay calm and buy FOHO. Right? It's just stay
Right.
calm and buy FOHO. So Roshan,
Absolutely.
what's your perspective,
Absolutely.
and especially from a real estate perspective, right?
Oh,
You
I
you
think I think this is great. I welcome regulation because I believe that a lot of people are just waiting for the rules to be clear, and I can guarantee you that within the first 24 hours, you will have Paytm, phone pay, Google Pay, everyone launching or grow. All the major fintechs in India will launch buy crypto with a click of a button as soon as the regulation is there, and within maximum 90 days, every bank will have a crypto mutual fund or blockchain Bitcoin index fund in India. It is gonna be the largest amount of capital coming into the crypto world forever. There is no other country that will have that kind of volume of capital going into crypto. It's going to go into Indian exchanges only. All the fees are going to remain in India. There will be tax dollars generated. Every IEO and ICO will have to be in India on the Indian exchanges because nobody will want to miss out on this huge volume of investor base. So India will, I'm optimistic, and I believe India will be the crypto center of the universe. And of course, there are smart countries like Mauritius and Dubai who have thrived traditionally on being in India by virtue, but not being in India. So I think they will continue to be smart, and they will tap into this great broom of crypto that's happening in India. So, but it's a great positive for the industry worldwide. We will be the first BRIC country to have to recognize crypto as an asset class, and to have very clear rules and regulations around it. So I think that you're going to have a few $1 billion pouring into crypto as soon as India announces the regulations.
Roshan, fantastic. So, hey, until if this goes the way you said, I think we can add genius in front of our names. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I was afraid. I was afraid this goes the other way. We'll have to put something else in the front. But okay, you know what? This is actually going to make us look good. Okay, so this is great
No,
because
no, no,
I've been
absolutely.
asked
I
this
think I think
question.
I expect all mutual funds to launch a crypto fund.
Absolutely. So people ask us, why did you launch in India? And this question gets asked to us all the time. And I think you've just made the case, and I think this is fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. And if anybody's watching from the sidelines, and I think what Roshan just said is the huge opportunity, right? And it's when you look at it very short term, there may be some tax dollars that we might have missed out on, but the like this could be the IPL. Okay, the
Yeah,
IPL by far is the biggest cricket extravaganza in the world. It is bigger
yeah,
than anything ever known in the cricketing world.
yeah,
So I think what
absolutely.
you're saying, Roshan, the Indian crypto industry will be equivalent of the IPL. So think of any other cricket
Absolutely.
league, won't even come close, right?
Absolutely.
Sub Milke Bolo, FOHO, FOHO, fantastic.
I'm wondering why is nobody
Yes,
noticing it. I'm busy changing
yes.
my slogan.
Ajit,
Yeah, no, no, no. I agree, Vijay. And
yeah.
I believe that the Indian capital markets have been one of the most vibrant ones for decades. And this will become a new kind of capital market in India, and it will put India. I mean, already if you see the Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange, they're bigger than most other countries. I think they're bigger than Singapore. It's one of the top 4 or 5 markets globally. And in crypto, I believe this will make the Indian exchanges the biggest exchanges in the world.
No, I think absolutely. Ajit, your take on this as well. I mean, I think Roshan's this big worldview. I think this is and if the finance ministry is Indian finance ministry is listening, SEBI is listening, the Reserve Bank is listening. I think this is the opportunity, and I think the timing is couldn't have been better. There's people around the world that dithering, they're not sure. I think this is the time to take that strong, messaging, and be positive. As I said, the first BRIC country, let's go out there, make this come out very strongly, and I think it'll be super. Ajit, your take on it as well. I mean, you've got a vantage point, and those of you not watching, those of you who are watching and probably didn't know, Ajit used to be the CEO of ZepPay, one of the early crypto exchanges in India. So, Ajit, if you were to go back in time, would you want to bring ZepPay forward, or would you want to take this event back? What would you do? That's my question to you.
So forward is the only word that I know. I spell even back as FORWARD. That's the spelling of back for me. So I think there is a good reason for that, right? And the reason for that is the opportunity here is, as in it's like, frankly, I don't think we will be able to. While Roshan said what will happen in 1 day and 90 days, I think even that would be just scratching the surface. That would be tapping into the pent up demand of the past, which was hesitant to expose themselves to this. This does not say anything about the value that will be built in the future, right? For example, take the case of FOHO. A lot of people who are buying FOHO they are doing it because of what it represents. But once there is all of that entire real estate economy coming up, then that will become the reason to do it, right? Yeah. So that's what I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think we'll also be like, I remember Ajit in IIT Bombay, we were the first, university that had Linux, and the first kind of set of people who had Linux and, had exposure to open source. And that created so many companies. And so I think with India, it'll be the first country where you have a young population and people who have exposure to crypto and understand how to do this thing, how to participate in the decentralized economy. And that would be a huge competitive advantage for India, going forward. And I expect India to become, the crypto capital of the world.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's I'm going to stick to my IPL analogy here, and I think and people the scale, the so Indian crypto, the people from all around the world, as you said, are going to come and play in the Indian IPL equivalent of the crypto business, and I think it is. I think this is also could be, I think as we talk about the $5 trillion economy for India, I think this could be a big driver to growth. And I think this is fantastic. I think we were just so, Ajit, this is still, are we still being very optimistic? Do we see the roadmap? How far is the is there a gap between the cup and the what do they say, the cup and the slip, or whatever? Is there a slip between the cup and the lip kind of thing? Where how what does it take for us, for the industry to really say yes, this is on board now? Does it take pen to pay? What does it take? Like, I mean, I think right now still, I think Roshan talked about this, but I haven't seen anything that says yes. Here's the milestone. Here's the roadmap.
So what I did was, as you were talking, I don't know if I'll be able to get this. Yeah, I think you can see it now.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
so that is the graph of Bitcoin, right?
Okay.
For the last several years, I think about 5, 7, 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Mm-hmm.
see the beginning part of it, it is like almost zero, and
Mm-hmm.
then it goes up a lot, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to point out is the fact that we have already traveled a huge journey in established uh, opportunities such as Bitcoin, right? As in the 1 cent to $50,000, which is like a, what is it? We are talking of like 5 lakh, 50 lakh, or 5 million times. As in, that is really the journey from 1 cent to $50,000. And by the way, the real number is even greater than $50,000, right? I think that the reason such a ridiculous growth happened is because initially people just dismissed the opportunity. It is
Mm-hmm.
not as if
Yeah.
the value was accrued because somehow Bitcoin became more valuable. That happened. But I think the biggest thing is that in the beginning, people just dismissed the opportunity and later they recognized the opportunity. So Bitcoin is already over $1 trillion in market cap. Ethereum, I feel, is, as in, it's very easy to believe that Ethereum will get there sooner or later. But I think that beyond that, now we don't just, like, for example, if you think about it, way back 20 years ago, we used to say internet stock, when we had to refer to certain companies. Now, Amazon is not referred to as an internet stock. Netflix is not referred to as an internet stock, right? As in, so eBay, a lot of these things were called internet stocks then, because anything related to the internet. Now people are distinguishing. Okay, Netflix is entertainment. Amazon is. They will not even call it e-commerce. They call it retail, right? So I think that
Logistics.
Absolutely. Yes.
evolution, yeah, that evolution which we saw in the internet, going from everything being as in some words starting with E or not, I think that whole revolution has to happen in the blockchain space also. And today we are at the beginning stages of that. And if you notice, even the way regulation is structured, etc., they largely say cryptocurrency. It's almost like saying internet stock. I think that is the stage we are at.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, we know that a lot more has to come.
No, absolutely. And Ajit, I think that's a great parallel, and we've seen where some of those things have moved, and I think equivalent to the Bitcoin curve that you showed. If you look at Amazon price, and I was surprised. I think it was not. It was, I think, just even at the beginning of the pandemic, that Apple stock became the first $1 trillion stock, and now it's 3 trillion. So it took only a couple of months to go from 1 trillion to 2 trillion to 3 trillion. So it's unbelievable. So this is the stuff where people are saying, how does things happen? And I think it,
Yeah,
it just
and
happens.
Vijay,
And
Vijay,
now.
I think there we
Hmm.
must be conscious that the public markets today have a lot of discounted risk. So people are discussing, because you have a 52-day moving average, and kind of people, the valuation has slowly creeped up in the public markets. So at this point of time, there is probably a 20, 30 to 40% downside on capital in the public markets. And if you subscribe to that viewpoint, then pretty much what is, the market that is not susceptible to accounting fraud, that is not susceptible to management indiscretion, what is not susceptible to sort of froth, and that is crypto, because crypto is really, we're at the tip of the iceberg. And the usage of the mainstream cryptos is going to keep going up. There's no person manipulating it behind the scenes. And so I think that a lot of people, will start feeling that, hey, if I want to have a diversified portfolio, I must take some of that money out of the public markets and put it into cryptocurrencies. And maybe initially people will be a little hesitant. It'll be like like the allocation to internet stocks. But as the consolidation wave happens, and as some currencies emerge as dominant, I expect a significant shift of capital into this universe.
Yeah, and I'll give another analogy there. Until maybe a couple of years back, Warren Buffett sat on the sidelines and said, "I don't understand any of this business." Until
Yeah.
now, does anybody want to guess what is Warren Buffett's largest holding? What is Warren Buffett's largest investment holding? Anybody? I'm looking at the comments. Okay, one more prize if
Yeah.
anybody gets it
Let's wait
right.
for somebody to get that answer there.
Yes. If anybody gets it right, we'll get you. We'll have another prize. We have a prize for Zubair,
So I
and
think
we'll have another
Vijay,
prize here. Zuhaib.
I think there were two companies, right? The first one and then the second one.
Yeah,
There's one. I think that he came into a little earlier in the tech space,
yeah.
and
But his
then the more famous
largest holding
example.
right now, and I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm getting the answers.
You know,
Not his house.
No,
yeah,
no,
Praveen,
no,
very good guess, very humorous. And given that we are
no,
talking
no.
real
Warren
estate, but
Buffett's
that
house
is
has
not
been like a sub $1 million for the longest
that.
time.
For the
Yeah,
longest time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
350,000
So,
I think
so,
is.
so the answer is Apple. So it's Apple.
Yeah.
Okay, Zuhaib, you get it
Oh,
again. So Zuhaib gets two
good job,
prizes. Okay.
Zohaib.
So Apple stock, is now the largest portion, and this is so. I think where we're going with this is once once the message gets loud and clear, maybe think of a day where Mr. Rakesh Junjunwala invests in FOHO. Today is like, oh, we don't know these things. I like these stocks or whatever. When we have people like that, when we have a Warren Buffett, when we have the large, investors, and when they go in big. I think, and I think the point that we're trying to make is going to take some time for us to get there, but that inflection point, when that happens, it's going to be big, right? And I think we need to be prepared, and I think that's where, I think as a team, Roshan, Ajit, and I are making sure we've got the I's dotted, the T's crossed, we are ready, and if anything, we're definitely wanting to make this institutional grade, big investor grade, and I think that's where I think the direction is. So I think
Absolutely.
we're around 10 minutes to end now. I'd
Yeah.
like to
I
put it open
I
there
think
and
Vijay,
out there for people with
we can end a
questions.
little early
Yeah,
because I think we have reached the pretty much the end of comments, etc. So unless people have some questions, please
questions.
put it in the chat. Otherwise, we can wrap up.
Yes, yes. Does anybody have any questions? For it's not very often you have Ajit there and 10 minutes on his clock, wanting to answer questions. Roshan being able to answer questions as well. So okay, we got a question here. It's if you launch utility token for allowed purchase to fiat, doesn't mean you're deducting the utility of the token devalued.
Oh,
Okay, Roshan, you want to take that? Okay, the
yeah,
question
sure.
again, I will read it out again, is if you allow purchase through fiat, doesn't mean that you're reducing utility of token and devaluing it. Okay, so
No, no, no,
go
no,
ahead,
absolutely
Roshan.
not. So essentially, please keep in mind that when you buy through cash, you are essentially paying a higher price than if you buy through FOHO. And that is essentially a great validation because people are every day going to transact in fiat currency. And so that means that the FOHO coin holders have every day somebody who has a very real economic incentive to purchase using the FOHO coin. And so, as the volume of transactions increase, the demand for FOHO coins increase, and it kind of keeps it real and doesn't keep it, sort of artificial per se.
Absolutely. So the other part here is, I think there is two parts to this. The one is the crypto coin portion of it, and with FOHO, we're not just a crypto play. We're a fractional real estate play as well, and a fractional real estate play is not 100% crypto play. So we need to make sure that people are able to participate in the fractional real estate play, not necessarily having to be part of crypto. So I think that's the part where, but if you are part of the FOHO ecosystem, and you are part, if you're investor in the FOHO coin, the FOHO coin is the preferred currency on the FOHO platform. So there is going to be a lot of utility to the FOHO coin, and as we're talking about the trillions of dollars of potential, GMV, if I may call it, on the platform, even if let's say 50% of that was done through the FOHO coin, the FOHO coin has immense utility. And Ajit, if you want to also shed some light on this in terms of, we're not a pure closed loop FOHO coin only platform, and I think the question is towards, by not doing it that way, are we limiting it or are we opening it out?
See, the thing is that at this point of time, uh, if suppose we had a situation where you only had a utility token such as FOHO coin to get this right, and somebody wants to participate in the FOHO ecosystem, what are they going to do? They're going to take their fiat, buy FOHO coin with it, and come to us. That's great. But in reality, if they're starting from fiat, some of them, because we have not yet reached the level of penetration. So, the approach that has been taken here is that let the economic activity start. Let the economic activity start. In fact, if you look at two questions below your question, Noel, you will notice that somebody says, why not have FOHO chain, right? So all of those things are completely open. The point is that you don't give birth to like a 20-year-old. You give birth to like a 0 second old. And from there you evolve. So I think that I would encourage you, Noel Braggs. And by the way, very good question. You'll be surprised to know, Noel, that of the first two or three questions that I asked the team when I associated with them recently was this. So I agreed. I agree. That's a really good question. Having said that, I personally feel that it is a matter of evolving, and we will evolve. As in, why will we not evolve? So that's basically my response.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ajit. And FOHO chain, I think, is again a great idea, something that we've been mulling over as well. But as Ajit said, Delhi abhi dur hai. We're on the way. We are definitely open to all ideas, and absolutely, from a intention standpoint, it's to dominate the space. So absolutely, all of these ideas are great. There's a last question here. We have to kind of end quickly, but Roshan, you want to take that from Praveen? So using FOHO, you can get cashback of 5%. In real estate, 5% is not small. So basically, he's making the case for the FOHO coin people, where we're getting the cashback component, right? Where we're getting a discount on the platform fees. I think we lost Roshan there. So
I
yes,
think
Praveen.
Roshan might have forgotten that there was a 5% cashback. So as soon as you reminded him, he has gone to quickly collect his own cashback.
So, no, Roshan, we were
Really.
like, when we had the cashback question, you kind of left. So they were like, maybe you went to get your cashback.
Yeah, yeah. No, actually, I think people don't realize how big 5% is in real estate,
Yeah,
Right, right, right.
you
Absolutely.
know.
absolutely, absolutely. That is huge. That is huge. And again, because real estate is not a small. We're not talking the ticket sizes are much bigger. And then this is also one of the reasons why we think all of you should be very bullish on FOHO, because we're not going to get small percentages. The platform itself is going to be potentially quite profitable, because it is getting a percentage of very large transactions. We're not, which real estate transaction is in thousands of dollars, or lakhs of rupees. It's now in the almost the crores, even in smaller cities. So potentially, we're talking about something that is as somebody once said, if you're going to put a store, put it in a place where it is the rich people live, right? Even if you get five customers a day, you're possibly going to get more. So we've put our store where the transactions are big, okay, and everybody needs a house, and everybody, and it is essential. It's one of those expensive essential commodities, okay, and I think there's very few of those expensive essential commodities worldwide, and I think that's again where
Yeah.
we pitched
And
this to it.
and
So
and Vijay, for everyone out there, just look at the options for an investor today.
hmm,
I mean, if you look at today public markets, you have you're paying anywhere from 80 to 140 times earnings. If you look at Indian public markets, you're paying anywhere from 45 to 250 to 1600 times earnings. I'm really wondering about people who believe they can make money by investing at 1600 times earnings. you know I mean, this has never happened, and it's never going to happen ever again, ever in the future. There's never happened in the past that you can pay 1600 years earnings and make money. So what's the other option? You have fixed income, which is at 0.5%, 1%. In India it's 4% post tax. Where what is the area to invest capital? It's pretty much real estate is the only sector, and it's also seen a run up, but it is one of the sectors where you know that your downside is protected to a large extent. So that money is going to come into real estate, and it's going to go, in our opinion, into income seeking real estate. I and or of course, I think technology and innovation is something that you can't bet against. But apart from these two sectors, I think the opportunities are few and far between, for multiplication of money.
yeah, I think with that, I think we're getting to the top of the hour here. Last comments, last any slogans that you might have, Ajit. I see you've gone back to Let's Go, but what do you want to tell everybody? What obviously Let's Go, but anything more?
Let's open a fixed deposit in a nationalized bank, because that is the easiest thing to do, the least creative thing to do, and also ensures that we are stuck in poverty. If that does not appeal to you, then open your mind to new opportunities, to the new world, to the new technology, to the new way of doing things. So let's FOHO.
Let's FOHO. Thanks, Ajit.
Yeah. That's
Roshan, thank
for
you very much. And everybody watching, let's FOHO. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks. Bye. Bye. Bye.
bye bye.